And we are live with the Justice team this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, Justina Winfrey, on Politically Speaking, live with Attorney Helen Wakefield, Mr. Brandon Laster, and our wonderful and esteemed guest, Mr. Shane, the
Yeah.
comedian.
That's Shane Forbes. My last name Forbes. Watch it now.
Mr. Shane Forbes, welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. It's so exciting to have you. We are unfiltered. We are out of the box this evening, and we are taking no prisoners. So let's go. Politically speaking, Mr. Shane Forbes, you are joining us on the heels of a recent release, Shangri.
Yes.
Let's talk about Shangri.
Shangri is on Amazon Prime. If you got Amazon Prime, definitely check it out. If you don't have Amazon Prime, what you do is you steal it from your cousin. You get that little code, and then you put it in your TV, and then you can watch it. And then you share it with other people. But it's my 1 hour comedy special that I did, executive produced with Adam Wasserman and Dave Goldberg, and I got some white folks involved, which is really absurd for me, but. So if you get a chance, make sure you watch it, rate it, and review it. People don't realize the algorithm is what matters with Amazon Prime, whereas with Netflix, they just got money. But Amazon, it is about whether you can stay higher in the queue. So if you do watch this special, rate, review, and do that. And black folks kill me when they always talk about, we got to support each other. And then you see some black producer put something on and they go, well, I don't know. So, I hope that people, so far we're doing pretty well. We got a 99% customer engagement rate. So that's extremely high. So I'm very blessed and lucky to have it that way. Yeah. And if you'd heard the stuff we were saying when we wasn't on it, Helen is buck wild. She was saying, she's like, so what you wearing under those clothes, man? Yeah, I was like, see, look at her. Look. And she propositioned Brandon, said, look here, man, I like the way your shirt fit on you.
Hey, no. I might want to run for political office.
I know, yeah. I know you can't say it. So
but you know what? Then I'll get in.
I'll say it. They can't say nothing to you. They can say, well, she was on the show with him, but she didn't actually say that. And then Brandon get a little inbox. Well, yeah, I actually. So no.
Okay, I've been doing a lot of Prime lately. I just watched. Oh God, I guess I've been watched something. So I'll definitely watch when we get off.
Now
very good.
And I'm gonna let you know it is uncensored. So anybody that has church ears, even though some people in the church do the most heinous things I've ever heard. But please, we saw what just happened with they caught him on tape talking to his son. If you get a chance, I just want to let you know it is uncensored, but it's a mix of
through watching Jason Lee. I do a lot of podcast stuff. Jason Lee and the Cursing Pastor. So go figure that, right?
There you go.
And they're beefing. So I mean, I listen to it. What are you gonna do? You live the way you live, but you can't live in a bubble. I mean, and if you're offended by people that do what they do, then you're not gonna move forward. So
I agree. You're absolutely right.
So I'm assuming that you have a lot of material, given the fact that you've probably been quarantining for the last year and a half.
Oh no, I have tons of material. I did a show last night and I rattled off a bunch of stuff. I had to talk about the Chauvin case. That silly shit. Oh my goodness. It's like, yo, just show the tape. And I'm so sick of them saying, well, it's the George Floyd trial. It's not. It's the Officer Chauvin trial. It's him. George Floyd is dead because of him. So I went in last night about it. And, so I have a ton of material that I've been writing, and I got a lot of stuff that's a little bit edgy. But the people that like it will like it, and they'll get the point. Because I always try to I'll say something with a point of view, and then that. Like if I got a joke about gun laws, I make a point about it. Like women shouldn't buy guns while they're on their period. That's an official law we should have, because somebody gonna get shot in the ass. I'm just saying. I can see that coming. So that's just logic. I mean, I'm a thinker. I think things. I thunk that up myself. So I try to make sure that I have a point to it.
What about when men are on theirs?
Well, but because we're on ours all the time. So we're in perpetual menstrual Armageddon. Yeah, we are constantly, because if you look at the status of mass shooters, other than white folks apparently are having such a hard time, they feel like they got to kill everybody. But I can understand why black men, like, I'm surprised there's not more black mass shooters, because we deal with such heinous stuff constantly. So, I mean, that's why you said if you run for office, you could do one thing bad. Brandon could do what? Yeah, one time Brandon pulled the tag off the mattress, and he can't run. But white dude got 17 dead white women in his trunk. And they go, exactly. They go, well, he was just, to give them somewhere to rest. That's all. They were just resting, I mean, he was just giving them a ride in the trunk with duct tape. I mean, it happens. So, I mean, it's a double standard, and I get it. I see it. And just like she said, whoa, I might have to run for office. And Justina was like, well, look, I ain't running, so I don't give a damn. Pass the Henny. Like, I'm gonna get drunk, wake up butt naked at the zoo, and I wish somebody would say shit to me.
Yeah, I purposely.
What do you think?
I couldn't run for office. Yeah, because at that point, your whole life is public, and I'm a wild child, man. You know what I mean? Y'all don't want to see me behind closed doors. You think Trump was on TV? Oh man, they had me on this thing, and I won't even be nothing but a city councilman.
Yeah,
Councilman Tate.
They'll be following me around like the Kardashians, man. They're like, what is he gonna do next? So I just stay out of politics.
Yeah, I try.
So,
I try.
What do you think about? Because I mean, for me, I don't know, and I'm, I say what I feel. Sometimes I don't say everything, but one of the things that I guess I'm having a little bit of problem with, since this is politically speaking, is the Homeland Security Director coming out and making a bold statement about the attacks on Asian Pacific Islanders and the like. I don't believe in attacking anybody, but my deal is, when have we ever had the Director of Homeland Security come out and make such a stand on African American Black people as we're getting gunned down in the street? So what you think about that, politically speaking? I mean, for me, I guess, and then my other observation, because I look at stuff, the brother that rode up on them at the Capitol riots, that was bad. He shouldn't have had the car, losing it, whatever happened to him. Maybe he was having some type of psychotic break. But in the same breath, we had a whole attack that went 5-6 hours at the Capitol, and you have police on record getting beat down that said, hey, I thought about if I used force, and I heard them say use his own gun to kill him, that I needed to think and use another way out of this here. And I had a problem that the brother got out with a knife, and you had all of these people with guns. Nobody could have shot him in the foot, shot the knife out of his hand. I don't know. That's just me. And maybe, I don't know.
Wow.
It's just me.
The first thing that came to mind was Laquan McDonald. And it was just another situation. Now, unfortunately, the brother, he hit 2 people as he broke through the barricades. He killed one person and injured another. I'm not sure of the person's the injured person's status right now. God bless them. it reminded me of a Laquan McDonald situation. However, he did run into 2 people with the vehicle.
Oh, stop
that
it.
would still
Oh,
be
stop
vehicle.
it.
What is
Stop
it? Vehicle.
All
right, let's talk
right.
about it, Brother Shane.
But
That's
guess
like
what, though? But guess what? How many of those people at the riots were beating down cops? And also one died, as well as we just had a mass shooting where the guy shot a bunch of people and they walked his 21-year-old looking 45-year-old self out. I'm just saying, yeah, he did do wrong. He shouldn't have hit them. I don't know if it's a psychotic, but it's the difference in when you can pull back the force and think, let's get them to trial. Did wrong, murder, okay, mental, whatever. I'm just saying, we can always think when it's somebody else. And they did heinous. He killed a bunch of people in Colorado. They was dead. But he's alive.
Yeah, they stop it. Justina, I understand it. You know, I know that you got your little lotion on and you're like, look, I got my empathy lotion on. Stop it. If it's somebody black, they drop them. They drop you. Pop, pop, pop. And white people walk out with podiums and Nancy Pelosi computers and all kind of shit. The bottom line is it's a double standard. And when I saw it, it was race. And they was like, well, we got to be sensitive to cracker ass crackers. We got to be sensitive to them. But with somebody black, even if they had a psychotic, episode, they couldn't have been, they blast him in the thigh. And when he fall down, take the knife out of his hand. But us, it's always it's always death. It's death. With them, it's, well, what about their feelings as they're beating me in the head with a fire extinguisher? So all of these cops that did that, from where I'm from, that, you know, the fact that they didn't drop a lot of people doing heinous stuff, stabbing them with flags that said Trump on it, they should have gave them aftermarket holes in every part of their ass. Are you kidding me? They should have blasted them just like they blasted people and just like they shot rubber bullets at BLM members in DC. One person that was from CNN lost an eye, so they can kiss. Ready? My entire ass. I don't mean just one cheek. I mean both cheeks back.
And I'm not saying that it was right for the brother to do what he did. I'm not saying that, and I have problems with anyone dying from that. But I'm saying the level of control that you have when someone else that's not of color, black, especially black, you know, you got to take a headshot, body shot, nobody. And she said, well, he got out of the car and he had a knife. Dudes had hockey sticks and, you know, the whole 9 yards, and everybody got to go home. They didn't pull an 18-wheeler up to the back, you know, because I was like, okay, pull an 18-wheeler up and back them on up and take them to jail. They flew all the way home and they're still looking for them. I got a problem with that, America. I got a problem with that.
Yeah, I just,
you know, if we all going, we all go, but we don't have control, you know. I got a problem with that.
Oh no, I agree with you 1,000%. I think that if Brandon would have walked up to the Capitol, he could have been waving some silly putty.
An ice cream cone.
Yeah, they'd have been like, "Oh damn, Brandon got silly putty! Look out!" And then they'd have dropped him. Whereas in black people, that's a different situation. Whereas in white people could walk up literally holding 2 detached arms they done ripped off of cops, and they see him drinking their blood, and they still be like, well, maybe he was thirsty. Maybe we should just, you know, let him ride. So no, I agree with you 1,000%. I asked that question. I was getting interviewed on a show, and the lady got all upset, like, oh my God, what are you trying to do? You condone his actions? I said, where in the hell did you hear me say I condone his actions? He was crazy as cat shit. We know that. But guess what? You could have dropped him and find out that fact he had a psychotic episode. But nobody's saying these huge insurrectionist crowd can rush the Capitol and not get dropped, and walk out like they just been shopping at the mall. Stop it.
And fly home. That's the thing about, they flew home. They let them fly home. And now they're trying to find them. We're trying to find them. You had them. You had them.
Right. There's video of them walking around. One of them literally is walking with Nancy Pelosi's podium. There's another one that was taking pictures, and they caught him in her office. What are you talking about? They were looking for Chuck Schumer. They were saying, hang Mike Pence. What else? But see, with us, we got to have overwhelming, beyond life evidence. With the Chauvin trial, they don't need 2-3 weeks. Show the video, but they got to ask the chief. So what did he do? Like, if he would have just it's always, what if he did this and did that and did this? Whereas with us, it's like, no, I saw him. He was a big black man, and so I had to shoot him. No, and it's a double standard. And I think that the bottom line is, this is gonna make a lot of black folks go, who the hell you think you are? Here, I changed my voice. Who the hell? And look, we got to stop with this meeting bigots halfway and meeting these racist assholes halfway. We need to be like, look, that's wrong, and keep saying it instead of always trying to find the other side of their reasoning. The reasoning is the double standard with black folks and white folks, and stop acting like it doesn't exist anymore. Period. The end. And I'm sick of people doing that. Religious right. Well, we got to pray for them. You know, how much am I going to pray for them while they stabbing me in my butt cheek with a Trump flag? How much, instead of smashing him in the head with a knuckle bundle? I mean, we got to stop being so soft like yogurt. We are yogurty. And I'm tired of us being yogurty. Asian people are making a fuss, and guess what? People are paying attention. We get chill. Like, this is just the way it is. No, it ain't.
They said it was the increase, something else with Asian persons that Biden did. He did something else. It was two different things that happened that's distinctly targeting the attacks on Asian person, in the recent, wave of COVID or whatever has happened. My thing is that, and it's wrong. Don't get me wrong. I hope nobody hears and say, well, I should say, no. But I say, why not the same energy? Why not the same thing? And still, in light of black people, there have been so many other, shootings, killings, blah, blah, blah. Nothing said, and so that's what, and I don't know if the people that are out front just don't want to go there because people want to be politically correct and all this cancel culture. You can't cancel me.
Right.
You didn't start me. You can't cancel me. You're canceled, whatever.
Right. If that's the case, you know how long ago I'd have been canceled? They'd have canceled me like, yeah, you're gone. I'd have been canceled my first Comic View. So that's not, I think that there's a tendency to worry about it too much. And also the thing I said to the Asian community is, I do not want you to be beaten or shot or killed. But bottom line is, I did not hear you come out. They're talking about stop Asian hate. How about we stop hate? Just hate. Right. Stop hate across the board. But you know what? I didn't see as many Asian people out screaming and yelling for Black lives. And their lives matter too. Our blood matters too. But we're supposed to be on their side and champion their side, Asian people's side, and say, well, we're down with you. We understand. But when we ask for understanding from them, not only when they're in our communities, when you see them in our communities, they get rich as hell in our communities with their shops. When you see them in the hood and they still treat us like doo-doo, but they treat us like doo-doo and we still act like, well, you know what, man, I want this Snapple, so I'm gonna let him follow me around while I go buy this 99-cent Snapple. So I want to see that same energy from the Homeland Security to us. And until I do, everybody kiss my ass. Everybody, whole family, just line up. Mwah! Next. Mwah! Everybody. What's the day? Ass kissing day. Who's ass? Mine. Kiss it. Kiss it.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, wait a minute. Justina, you said we can talk. Stop it.
Yes, I did. Unfiltered. Yes. We have to live. And for people judging, really, let's not do that. We have this beautiful life to live. And guess what? We get to have fun sometimes. So I've been looking forward to being out of the box.
Me and Helen about to start some trouble. Brandon gonna have to bail us out.
Man, you know, I got a high net worth, but when it comes to liquidity, I'm still looking for it.
There you go. Yeah. No, you know what it is? I'll give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example of the hypocrisy of not only the hypocrisy, but the mentality of white people. And this is something that people say, well, you can't say all white people. No, it's a collective. Same thing with white police officers. If there are good white police officers, then you should police the bad white police officers more thoroughly, just as much as you thoroughly police our neighborhoods. Just like you treat us like subhumans, you should treat these police officers that blatantly break the law like you treat us subhumans. I just want it across the board. Now, if I act and do something crazy and I put my hand in my pants and wipe my ass and I go up and smack a cop in the face, I can see myself being roughed up a little bit. But if a white dude walks up to you, and I don't know, while you in church, and I don't know, shoots a bunch of people in church, you shouldn't be able to go to Burger King. That's the way it goes. You should get your ass roughed up. But you know what? He didn't look roughed up at all. He looked like he was like, well, I got a bag of Burger King. He had handcuffs and he was holding a bag of Burger King. So that's all I'm asking for. You can't.
Definitely seeking justice. That's right. It's time. We thankfully have a caller calling in right now, and he is a police officer.
Yeah.
This particular police officer, thankfully, is a police officer who comes from the South Side of Chicago. Mm-hmm. He is a Black man, and he is a former teacher in the schools in the city of Chicago. Please introduce yourself. If you'd like to remain anonymous, we completely understand.
No, I was only a special ed teacher's assistant, but now I taught in alternative schools. I was, a few times I had to be the teacher of the class. Matter of fact, I worked for an agency, New Centers of New Horizons. Actually, before I went to the police department, the director wanted to make me the head teacher. And it's so funny that we used to kind of bump heads, and she wrote me up a few times, but when I'm ready to leave, she wanted me to be the head teacher of the whole place. And what was interesting, I got brought to the school by the other director because he saw me working in a group home, being a supervisor at a young age, and he brought me over there to help keep the school going because he had a lot of teachers in there was kind of lazy, sitting around. They didn't have energy. But you talking about kids, this was back in the 80s, they used to call those kids LDBD, learning disability and behavioral orders. So, yeah, quite interesting. And, I graduated from Chicago Police Academy. My name is Anthony J. Williams. I have nothing to hide, and I tell what's out there, especially speaking about this police brutality. But let me go on the record and say, all cops are not bad, because I was in that squad car, and I refused to someone that said I was a terrible cop. No, I was a great cop. I might not have been the Steven Seagal guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger type cop, but I was a community oriented cop. I love to be in the school, talking to the kids on the corner when they're on their way home, and that's some of the basic that we got away from. But by no means we were trained in the police academy. Police officers.
I think we lost him.
I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
No.
Okay, I thought it was might be my headphones or something. But when he jumps back on, I'm saying again, he says all cops are not bad cops.
Okay. Yes. all cops are not bad cops. Brother Anthony, are you still with us? Thank you so much.
Right.
Awesome. So all cops are not bad cops. And I recall that one of the things that you had mentioned before was that the police academy, the training in the police academy, we had discussed briefly some time ago, actually recently, about the fact that regarding the issues of defunding the police, and I'm not a proponent of defunding the police because then they bring the military in. Jamaica saw it happen. Yeah. Brother Anthony, can you speak to the training that you received in the police academy?
Oh, now it's been going on 30 years, but the training we got the sensitivity training. Got the sensitivity training for battered women. Matter of fact, officer, he did a great job doing that. We even had some training on what now they call the pride community. We were getting that back. This was I went to the academy in 1989, graduated March of 90, and we hit those projects. We had that training. We got that sensitivity training where you look, listen, and you evaluate and go from there. You just don't rush in. You don't work out of emotions. Yes, you keep yourself one step ahead of, the people you have to deal with, but you don't always have to be in bed. So when somebody just spook you, you shoot them. You have to. If you're running around like that, I would say it's time for you to get off. And that's what the psychological exams was supposed to be for, trying to tell and weed people out, but they didn't work. That's the weed wow, and use that to not put too many blacks and graduate blacks through that academy. Now that statement right there is very explosive. You probably get a bunch of calls from 55. No, it was. They got research on that it was that psychological test, and that they have one more part. Oh wow, it evades my mind. And this part, they could just weed you out easy. They could say, but it was a pass fail. It's very subjective. They can say, oh, you didn't pass. And I remember they never got back to me. What was my score or anything? I was like, oh, man, that's, But the officers got the training. We had, I don't care how much training they had now. Went through there and they got a sufficient enough training to deal with the people, especially in Chicago. It's the melting pot. We diverse.
Now, what about outside of the police academy, 30 years later, beyond that, the ethics training, the sensitivity training? I remember hearing the fact that although you all have the training, it's up to the officer to use that training. Can you speak to that?
Oh, yeah. All the training we had. See, people don't really understand the first thing, just because an officer has a gun and handcuffs and the taser and all that. No, our first order of business is the diffuse thing. We don't always have to make an arrest. And just because we put the cuffs up doesn't mean you arrest. We might do that for safety. If it's it's just me and my partner, and it's 5 or 6 guys, we might handcuff them. So, because our eyes are trained on why one partner is doing one thing and to ensure our safety. So, everybody say, oh, you got the cuffs on. No, they don't. Cuffs can come off. Cuffs can come off. They train you in how to use them, but every time you put them on, don't mean you're arrested. But if we're doing a street investigation and interview, but we're looking for a man with a gun, it's a felony stop. Those are the tools to protect them. And just because I put those cuffs on, I can take them off. It don't mean I got the cuffs on you, I get to beat you in the head. Because a man cuffed, unless he sees some special force training, he's not gonna really do too much. They can spit up, they can do a kick,
So let me ask you this, and forgive me, because it leads me to the next question that Sister Helen always talks about regarding the FOP and that oath, and whether or not that oath protects that firearm.
Yeah, the oath. We are, and see, people forget we work for the public. We're supposed to protect the public and so forth. And a lot of us forget that we worried about protecting the establishment so the police department won't get sued and all that. Because, you get lashed, you cause the department money, this and that. But if that's the case, they should be coming down on guys. You got a lot of guys been costing the city a lot of money. Lots of money. I don't know the numbers, but you can pull the numbers and think. They had reports on Channel 7 Eyewitness News and other news. So if that's the case, they should have their brutality cases stay down low. If the guys or commanders will say, hey, you cost us money, you know what? We're going to have to take you to God. Do the investigation, right? Look into it. And then that brings up to another point, all this cope and all this. These guys, they got that oversight thing, but they not, somebody is holding their hands. They are doing correct oversight. Because some of the stuff is not right. When those things, when the Khan young guy got shot, they should have took the video, looked at it, and released it. If you don't have nothing to hide, release it. If your cop did something dirty, hey, it's just, that's what it is. But when you start holding on to it and putting it out a year, 2 years later, people got to fight on ongoing investigation, that's always a cover-up. Just like the government always say, I can't tell you because it's a matter of national security. That's, anybody been living in this world, you find out that's bullcrap.
Yeah.
Like, I watch too much Hollywood. No. That's reality. That's reality. And that's what they do. But if you're not on that side, if you're not inside, if you're not in the behind the scene, you don't know the questions to ask. You don't know what to look for. You just think, the police going to take care of it. The justice system is, you know what it is? The justice system is blind to us. And I mean black people.
So, Brother Anthony, thank you so much for being on the call with us this evening. I wasn't sure if any of our guests had any questions, because I know that comedian Shang is definitely extremely opinionated especially when dealing with our people and the force that's used against our people. So is Sister Helen.
I have a question about the police union. So today I was watching, listening to part of the George Foreman case. And one of the things that I do.
Wait a minute, George Foreman? What? Oh,
he's the deceased. So that's the way that
George Foreman actually made the grills. He's the one that, I think George Foreman is the cops didn't.
God bless you.
I don't know what the hell you talking about. George Foreman.
Sorry.
The cops they did it to George Floyd. Now if they did that to George Foreman, we really fighting, because that's one of my favorite boxers.
That's your boy. Yeah. Okay, so at any rate, I forgot we got a comedian. I misspoke. Yeah. So with George Floyd, so this is the deal. So if anybody knows anything about what happens with cops can be found guilty of whatever. They can be fired. They can do whatever, and they can easily be rehired by the same, establishment that they were fired from, because the unions are so straight. I know many officers that did all kinds of dirt. They just went across the line to Indiana, or they went to the suburbs. And one of the things that's really strong are the police unions. So, that's kind of who, when you talk about the officer that was actually found guilty in Laquan McDaniel, he was like, hey, you know what? I didn't pledge to serve and protect the community. I pledged to serve and protect FOP. So what's up with the unions? That's the deal. Because they said that this is one thing. There was one Chauvin may get his deal back, his job back, even if he's found guilty, because there's some little niche in their contract that said they had to do something within 90 days. And there's a dispute on whether or not they got whatever on the 91st day. Also, if you listen to the testimony, there's one part where the defense attorney is saying to the trainer, he says to her, Rhonda, whatever her name was, he said, you were served with a subpoena to turn over all of the records, training records. Did you do that? She said, yes. And he said, ever since, she's like, yes. He said, there was some, thousands? I think he said it was like some 300,000 pages. So they're playing these little games here, which, he may be found guilty. Who knows? But they're still talking about he has a pension of at least $50,000 that he's going to get, whether or not he goes to jail or not. Now, what about that?
Uh-oh.
Well, now that's administrative thing, but in the state of Illinois, if you've been convicted of felony and certain misdemeanors, especially misdemeanors that fall under moral thing like theft, you cannot come back. You cannot be a police officer in the whole state of Illinois. You cannot go across the line and go to the suburbs. Believe me, I tell you, I know. You cannot. You could probably go to another state and do it. If you're in Illinois, you would have to get a pardon from the governor. And if he did it, you go back and then you can get it expunged. That's if he gives you a pardon. Then you can get it expunged. Then you can be hired back. But if the governor doesn't give you that expungement and you got a felony or certain thefts on your record, you cannot be a cop. Now, there's one other loophole that you can be a cop, probably. I know in a fireman, if someone appoints you the chief of police, that's appointed. See, because how the wording goes, it's not that you're going through the training academy to get your thing. Because you could be a chief of police and you don't have to have all that stuff. They can have you.
It gets tricky. It gets tricky. It gets tricky in Chicago and throughout Illinois. Let's be clear. In Illinois, you can't be, if you have a felony, you can't be a city councilman. But there are sitting city councilmen who actually robbed. There's a city councilman who robbed a bank, served time, had the felony, and no one contested his petitions. And guess what? The governor gave him a governor's pardon as a result.
Well, if the governor gave him a pardon.
And he's still a city councilman who appointed his son as a state representative.
Yeah.
And his son was found to he had collected like $90,000+ in workers' comp that was questionable. So yeah, Illinois is unique in that sense.
He should never have been back on the job until the government gave him the pardon. He can't get the job first and then be pardoned.
Nobody. So one thing about the elections that's funny, it goes, even if it's on the books, and it goes. If no one contests the petitions, guess what? He's in. And then I know it sounds crazy, right? But that's what happened.
But
1 second, Brother Anthony. What was that, Shane?
No, I just wanted to ask Brother Anthony. I understand you were a good cop, and I'm not saying that there's not good cops. What I'm saying is, they say that one bad apple can spoil a whole bushel, right? So what I keep saying is that over and over again, there's apparently more than one bad apple in the bushel. Now I'll give you an example. if I gave you a strawberry shake, but I put one piece of shit in the bottom, and it was, wait a minute, and it's 99% shake. It's 99% creamy, tasty strawberry shake, and 1% piece of shit. It still makes that whole shake nasty as hell. So I know that people like, how much weed did you smoke before you came up with that analogy? But the point is, my point is, that's which way I look at it. It's like, you say it doesn't need to be an overhaul. I think Justina said, I think it does need to be an overhaul, not in the training, but the sensitivity to us, specifically Black folks, because obviously they have a problem with us. Obviously, we for some reason we feel like we got to get dropped every time there's a problem, whereas in a white dude could kill everybody in church, and apparently if he's hungry, well, let's stop off at Burger King for him. So we see the double standard of it. So I'm asking you, don't you think that there's got to be a point where they got to make some kind of, you say in the training, some kind of sensitivity, more sensitivity training pertaining to Black folks? Hello? Hello?
The next guy to use it, he chooses not to use it. He chooses to
That's what it is.
See, when you give them a loophole that they need to be trained and we're going to do better next time, that is bullshit.
Thank you. That's the kind of French I talk about. Exactly.
See, because what you just said, you sound like an intelligent African-American guy. You sound like you want to be with them. But I'm telling you, it's bullshit. Like I tell one of my officers, I'm there. That's bullshit, man. You didn't have to do that. What's going on? So, no, you got enough training. But see, they put that in to say, well, let bygones be God. Now we're going to train. No, you still need the accountability. That guy fucked up. Excuse my language again.
No,
he needs to be accountable.
Thank you. I agree with you 1,000%.
You need that oversight thing to look at the evidence. Was it dark? Like I'm gonna tell you, when like I told guy, when the last time you've been in Stateway Gardens when the lights went out and it's windy, the doors are blowing, and I almost shot a cat.
Wow.
Because I'm not no John Wayne dude. All that training in the academy is great, but when you get out there in the field, hey, your body kicks in. You still got fear. We trained to shoot at a target. A target don't shoot back. A target don't stab you. So you still got stuff that you're gonna react. Well, we need to look at the evidence. Did this guy jump out and spook the officer? We was looking for a man in the gun. Okay, now this officer, either he gonna have to give up, he needs some more training, maybe, to calm his nerves. Or better yet, he probably ended up he disregarded the truck. He didn't reflect that when you out there like that, you don't have your damn finger in the trigger well, especially on an automatic. With them hair trigger triggers, you could just touch, boom. Because on CHA, now I'm going to tell it, we had a guy, people might get mad, end up shooting one of our own guys. We tore up the projects, but the story didn't come out till later. He shot the guy in front of him. Because we was going up the stairs looking and something spooked him or he slipped. And he shot our guy in the back of his damn heel, tore his Achilles up. But we tore the project up thinking somebody was shooting but it was one of our own men that shot a guy. But, shit happens. But
I agree.
That would make you look bad.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think, with the police, it's just an accountability thing. I think that the more people hold them accountable, if I'm your brother, I'm your brother, right? We on the street and something going down, I got your back. If it's just, but if it's unjust, then you need the people to hold that person accountable. Hey man, I'm not gonna let that bullshit fly. And if that happens, then I think the system would unravel to where it should be, because everything is accountability. You know, if I know I can get away with some bullshit, and I got 30 people that's gonna back my bullshit, then what's the point of doing it?
And you know, the other thing too is that people go into different positions. Like they said, you find the you take the plaintiff as you find them. They come in with whatever their baggage is, their bravado or whatever their hate, and so they do what they do. I was a child protection investigator in the 90s, early 90s at one point in Chicago. And we were deputized to remove. The Chicago police officers are supposed to accompany us. Never did they ever accompany me. And I was all up in the projects, Stateway Gardens, the Ickies, Cabrini Green. I had Girl X. I had media cases. Never did they ever accompany me. And what I did, and I did not carry a gun. I couldn't carry a gun. The child had to leave with me, okay? And I had
Girl X. Can we go back to Girl X real quick? Can you bring the listeners back up to speed with Girl X?
There was a deal where this little girl was in Cabrini Green. They said she was missing. When they finally found her, she was drugged. It was just horrible. It was crazy. And so what we had to do was first try to find her. So no cops went. I went up in Cabrini Green, and the elevators, I always thought the elevators in the projects didn't work. They worked. It was just that the Banger Boys wouldn't let you go up unless they got to know you. But people from DCFS in Chicago, Illinois would go there with all kind of trips on their shoulder. I'm going to take your kids. I was not taking your children. That was my mindset when I went in there. No matter how bad it was, unless it was really horrible, these babies gonna go with somebody. There's somebody, auntie, big mama, church, somebody. Let's get them. They're not going into foster care. So with that being said, when I would go in and after I had done it for a while, the Banger Boys would see me and they would be like, "Oh man, that's old girl. She's straight." And then they were like, "We got the elevator for you." The elevator work in the project? They like, yeah. And I would go up and they would tell me where the children were. If somebody was raggedy, they were on drugs. She's selling the babies for sex because I did a lot of sex crimes. And I never, ever had a gun. Banger Boys were, I would roll up and they were like, "Hey, Miss Lady, they warned, stay in your car for a minute." And no lie, I was in the Sticky Ickies and they stood there and the boys did like this here. And everybody put their guns up. They're like, 13th floor, come on, ride up with her. Rode up with me. And the children were in there for a long time by themselves. It was cold as heck. And I remember the Banger Boys, they used to wear the Parkers with all of the fur around it and everything with their Timbs. And they took them off and they gave it to me. They said, "Throw these around the babies." And they helped me bring them down. So I'm saying all that to say the level and the threat was there, but my mindset was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure that it's nothing crazy. And I would just bob and weave. And as far as the cops, I'm just saying in Chicago, they did us dirty, boy. They never showed up.
I agree with what the brother said. His brother Anthony, right? Am I right? Yeah. You know what? I used to be into it's called full contact karate, and everybody, just like boxers say, you don't know nothing until you've been punched in the face. And so, no, I'm serious. Like you can talk all that shit you want, but until somebody punch you in your face, and so as a cop out there, you don't know nothing until you out there in the mix. Like he said, I almost shot a cat because it could be somebody jump out, try to take your head off. And I have empathy for that. It's just, I keep saying just case after case after case after case.
Black cats.
Yes, for some reason, it's people of color being done in by people that aren't of color. It just seemed like it's white folks just seem like they just on a warpath pertaining to us.
Yeah, well, let me make it simple. Like I tell everybody, around my circle that I've been hanging out for 50 years since kindergarten, but they always say, "Oh, Anthony, you just talking you cop." No, it's real simple. It's not science. It's not splitting a molecule. You got to have accountability and leadership. Membership reflects leadership. I tell people this go all the way up to the government. If the government allows all the governments under to do what they do, and they do what they do, don't tell people we're going to do gun control and all kids see is our government, like our hero, I hate to say it, Obama, he went got the doctor and all that. But if kids don't know, but they still see how they answered the conflict, not with a sit-down, they answered it with a bomb and a gun. So you're not going to have that. You're not going to get gun control. Because how you going to have gun control and that's like telling me, do as I say, not as I do. And I'm a grown man. And the accountability goes. If the accountability is not coming down and saying, look, no, your officers, this evidence say he just careless, reckless. He's getting off. This one, I'm going to give some time to. He's going to get 40 years. This guy get 5 years, but they all can't be an officer no more. Not in the state of Illinois. And matter of fact, they can't be an officer nowhere in the United States. Make sure their name is in some type of roster. So when their name pops up, no, they cannot be a peace officer. Maybe security at the most, but never a police officer.
Even with security, that's a concern too, because when you think about the south suburbs,
security don't have the same power in America as a cop.
They still carry guns though. They still carry
guns. Power. No, they're not the same power though. They're not the same.
It's most likely if he's security, he ain't a cop, and he make a wrong move, the judge usually will throw them in jail.
Yep.
They'll tell him you're a fuck up. But see, you only security. See, people don't understand that understand cop unless you've been security and a cop. I've been both. I've been doing them both, off duty, this and that, and tell people, oh man, you ain't nothing but a turnkey, man. Blah blah. Till I tell the guys, look, I'm an officer, man. I'm off duty doing this. Now, right now, as I'm talking to you, we're gonna keep it at security. But if you step it up, I can go police mode. So you have to be there to understand that type of dynamic between that and the courts. You got a lot of police officers like to run up, oh man, the security still got his gun off. He was supposed to take it off, just lock him up. And I ain't gonna lie, I rode with a lot of white guys want to do it. I said, this guy got to walk past the projects, leave him alone. I had to argue with some of my own officers. Oh man, he got a gun on Will. He ain't killing. He just got off duty. He going home. But right. They put on that badge and they
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. You did the music. But no, I did security. I didn't do security with a gun. I did security with Zulu Nation for hip hop parties up in the Bronx, and we did it in New York, and you know what I'm saying. So I did security, but we weren't allowed to have guns. But it was like 6 of us on one dude. So if somebody got out of line, we would all converge on him. So it wasn't about that. We were just like, okay. And plus the dude that ran because I'm older than y'all younger than me. So I'm just telling you, it was a place called the Silver Shadow. And up in the Bronx, it was called Zoo. It was where DMX and the Rough Riders used to rock out. And the thing is,
you ain't
he said, you ain't got me by that much. But I'm gonna tell you, what we would do.
You don't even know.
Yeah. No, well, we weren't allowed to, we were get them out the club, but we weren't allowed to stomp them out or do nothing. Now, when they got when they got too rah-rah, then it was like, oh, you still gonna try to punch me in the face, then you're gonna get these hands. But the end of the day was, if a cop came in there, trust and believe, he had way more power than us. Way, it could be 6 of us. One cop, he had more power than us. I don't know why people think that security guards are the same level as a police officer. They're not. I've heard that bullshit from people. They're not even close.
But and I try to explain to people, and I try to explain to the security guys, and I try to explain, I can go into a big story. I worked for a guy that was he was from Morocco. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna call his name, but this guy got pulled out of the Chicago Police Academy because it found out his uncle had some ties to Al Qaeda. So he tried to fool me. He got this French or Spanish name, but I'm listening to his accent. I'm like, I've been around this. I'm like, bro, you're not this. And he had to tell me, no, man, I'm from Morocco. I'm just that. I said, I knew, man. And he told me the story. But he and I bumped heads. He made me his consultant supervisor. But when I didn't become this yes boy, he fired me. But I told him we are not going to treat my black folks, because some of these same folks where I was working, they grew up under me as kids. As I was a police officer. Now they grew up and got back to their own, but they knew, hey, Officer Williams, it was 20 years later, 25 years later. I'm not hitting people in the head. I'm not you sicking dogs on people. You don't even have that clearance for that. So he would just get loud with me, like, bye. Next thing I know, he told the captain, go tell him to go home.
So as we're getting ready to wrap up, Brother Anthony, we definitely have to bring you back on, because we still have a few calls regarding the union and just the level of protection regarding the FOP and the union. It seems like getting insight on the FOP, that Fraternal Order of Police, it's like trying to get information on a 33rd degree Mason. So
it is. But when they get mad, they just fired the guy that was the president of the union. I forgot his name, but I remember him when he worked the streets. That's how long ago I remember him. But in the end, the FOP does not trump state of Illinois once the guy gets convicted. They tried all the curve, but once he's getting convicted, it is out of the FOP's hand. And whatever they do behind closed doors, that's illegal. But FOP cannot make any sanctions once the state of Illinois said this guy's convicted, this and that. Boom. They can represent him, but they really can't do anything else.
Okay. Well, we are getting ready to wrap this segment of the show up. Brother Anthony, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we will talk to you soon. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Good.
All right, man. All right.
Good, man.
Brother Shane, the clarity from an awesome brother out there in the streets and with no fear. He walks upright, Brother Anthony. Thank you.
But again, I'm saying you got to understand that from where I'm from, when I hear there police officers like that, they're an anomaly. They're not necessarily the norm or the standard. He may have had a certain standard, and I'm glad that there are police officers like that. But a lot of the ones I ran into, and the ones I did, now don't get me wrong, it was me. Like, you know how other people say, oh, no, it was them. No, it was me. So I'm one of those people like, no, that was you. You did that shit. That was you. So I can't say it from my perspective, but I did see them do a lot of dirt. I seen them do a lot of unnecessary force and a lot of that. And even when I was doing security, because I did security before I did comedy, because that's why I would get around to the clubs. And I was more the funny security because I would joke people out of fighting, or I joke them out of like getting mad. They be getting mad, like, I'm drinking, motherfucker. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna kick everybody's ass. And I say, man, look, that girl over there looks at you and she thinks you're pretty, and you over here wanting to get on the ground dirty in your suit. Come on, man, let's go over there and get a drink with the girl. And I would talk them out of it, and I kept doing it. And then after a while, they're like, oh, he the funny security guard. And then I wasn't a security guard. I was it's called a guerrilla squad. And so after a while, they're like, man, you funny, man. You should do comedy. And I was like, you know what? I bet you that's safer than this shit. And I was like, choking a drunk out to get outside. And because they're like, well, you big, because I'm kind of big. And so they would automatically, big-ish. Yeah. Well, I'm a big, tall man. And so they would think that, well, he big, he must be able to take a punch in the face. No, don't hit me. You know, and you know who is the worst? I'm gonna keep it real. I don't mean to be women.
Yeah.
I would talk men out of it all the time. They'd be like, all right, I say, look, man, let me get you a drink. I mean, it's either that or me and this dude named Shorty and the other cat named Killer, we gonna drag you out by your neck. What you want to do? They're like, okay, brother, I get it. The women like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. Jump up on my neck, start scratching me. One girl, I swear, it took me everything in me not to body slam her ass into the snow.
That might have been me.
I was like, look, you can't fight this other woman in this club. This ain't gonna work for you. And she's like, well, you know what? Well, I'll fight you then. I said, yeah, that ain't gonna work out for you either. Yeah. Women are the worst. And some woman was talking to another woman's man, and as she started fighting, hit the girl in the head with a wine glass, and then it was on. So I understand police have to deal with a lot of crazy stuff from that standpoint. But I could have choked this horrible heifer out, and she had shoulders like a dude. I should have beat her up like a dude. You want to act like a man? I'm gonna treat you like a man. Woo! And I could have uppercutted her, knocked her unconscious, but I didn't. And you're supposed to have that. You're supposed to have that reserve to like, look, let me physically guide her ass out, and when she come back in, she said, I want my money back for the drink. I said, you don't get your money back. You got to go. Whereas in police officers, a lot of times, instead of having the reserve to say, look, I know I'm stronger than them, and I probably could take them out. I'm gonna get you out of the situation, and then I'm gonna not shoot you dead. I'm not going to shoot you dead. And if I am got to shoot you because you crazy as cat shit, then I'm going to shoot you in your leg, or I'm going to get you in the shoulder. Because you take a blow to the shoulder, they're going to go down. I don't care unless they're like the Rock size, which, by the way, I met that motherfucker, and he is he's not normal. He's 6'5", and his arm is your leg. I'm not kidding you. If you think he looks big on the movies, he's bigger than that, because I'm 6'2", almost 6'3", and he's 6'5". I had to look up to him and go, I almost felt gay, like, oh my God, Rock, you so big. Look at you with your muscles. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It made me feel like a punk. Yeah. I'm like, look, man, I apologize if I ever said anything.
You did that real well.
Yeah, it's like, I did that a little too well. I need to bring it back. In fact, I'm going to go have sex with a woman tonight just to wash that mental out my head.
Yeah, you might. Whatever.
Yeah, like, I need to get a vagina somewhere real quick. But no, I'm saying I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna call you Helen, and that's it, and that's what it is, because I'm a man, and I said it. And I'm gonna give you the Denzel Washington finger. Listen, listen, okay. I think that people don't want to talk about the double standard pertaining to white police officers, how they treat black police officers. They don't even want to talk about that, let alone how they treat black people in general, period. Brandon, I know you think that, hey, you could be an upstanding, intelligent man, because I've tried to be calm. In fact, Anthony Mackie said this bullshit on some interview. I was calm, talking to the cop. I was like, look, I don't drink. I was in the passenger side of the car. The waitress from the comedy club was driving me back to the hotel, and she happened to be white. I'm too light-skinned to be with white girls, so that wasn't the case. So we ride, and the cops pull us over, and the cop starts harassing me. I'm like, I'm in the passenger side. Well, why are your eyes red? It's 3 a.m. I did 4 shows. I'm tired. And he starts arresting me. Well, I'm a public intoxication. I don't drink. And I wasn't being aggressive with him or none of that. He says, put the handcuffs on. I'm trying to treat you like a human being. And then he got mad because I said, I am a human being. You can't treat me like what I am. What the hell is that? So I want to know, why is it always they have to take it 2 steps forward with us? Whereas when I see them treat white people that are psychotics, or white people that are incredibly aggressive with kid gloves. And it has been seen time and time and time again. We die if we do something crazy, like the dude did. I'm gonna give it. He was a little nutty at the Capitol.
Right, Shane.
But come on.
You said it though. Nowhere in history will they line up 100 white people and shoot them. But if there's 100 black folks and we taking over the Capitol, we is dead. That's how it's gonna be.
You're right.
You can't equal that out. There will never be an equal because they're not going to shoot as many of them as they will of you. So that being said, you just play your role, because it'll never be equal. How do you make something equal that wasn't even started off equal?
Right. But it's a different day and age, and I want my equality, and I want my equality. Period.
You all asked a very good question. How do we make something equal that was not intentional? It wasn't intentionally created to be equal. And Attorney McClary and I have talked about that. Sister Helen and I have talked about that. And the big issue is Sister Helen. Yes. Yes, Sis Helen. The big issue is the United States has not signed the treaty to ultimately be held accountable by the international courts, the way that the United States holds other countries accountable. So we just recently had human rights hearings with the Black Lawyers Association. You had testimonies from, we're talking about 300-400 organizations on these calls with the United Nations over a period of a month. We have all of this documentation. The UN visited Chicago back in 2017, 2016, and ultimately said, yes, the United States should be sanctioned for their crimes against the people that live in the United States. Human rights crimes against the people in the United States. How do we ensure accountability to the United States? Well, we need to have that treaty signed so that the United Nations and the UN, ultimately the International Court, can enforce the sanctions on the U.S. for the inhumane treatment of Black people.
Right. Or all Black athletes don't play one down. Like everybody Black that ever played a sport say, you know what? We ain't doing shit. They would lose trillions. If all the Black people, if all the Black musicians in Hollywood and the actors said, you know what? You don't like us? How about this? We ain't doing no more. It'd be a wrap. If we stop buying, you understand, if we stop buying Nike tomorrow, if Black folks, not Asian people or Hispanic people, we say, because you know what? All I try to meet them halfway with their empathy, they don't give a shit. But if you hurt their pockets, all of a sudden, listen, Muhammad, I apologize. I don't know. Listen, what's your name? I'm Marcus. I was out of line. What was I thinking? No, I'm telling you right now, like if we stop buying Nike tomorrow, the stock would drop 72% and wouldn't bounce back for 4 years. Just
how did, and let's talk about, I love that you brought that point up. How did we get to the point of reality TV? Do you all recall, and I was an investigative journalism instructor at Columbia College teaching high school students something that the schools don't want them to learn, investigative journalism, because then they can write and they can document the things that are going on in their community and in the schools. So all of the writers, the Writers Guild, they say, we're pissed off, we're going on strike.
Right.
Do you all remember? Yeah, we're talking about 2007, 2008.
Yeah, I'm in the Writers Guild, I know.
So I get called to a huge event with all of the journalists, Callaway, all of these folks, Carol Marine, all of the big folks from Chicago are there. And they're like, what the hell is going on? They're about to shut down Ebony, Jet, print newspaper as we know it. Print newspaper news started folding. All of a sudden, the Writers Guild folks are like, screw that. They need us. They're going to pay us. What happened? We start seeing all of these reality shows hitting left and right. Brother Shane, speak to that. Let's speak to that, because will we be concerned about a situation like George Orwell's 1984, where in turn they take all of the media and the music and they start manipulating it even worse than it is?
Right.
Just
Oh, no, that was just, I mean, the reality shows where it's a cheaper way to, it's like we still can fill the airwaves with frighteningly trifle bullshit, and we can do that without paying these writers this exorbitant amount of money. But there was a certain point where they went, "Oh, this ain't gonna work. We need scripted shows." So, because I was part of it, and we needed scripted shows because after a while they go, "How many Housewives of Atlanta will we see two women pulling their weaves off? Can we go?" Right. And so there was a certain point where they had
the storyline,
right? They had to fold. They had to fold. But I'm talking about not only with television and movies. I think that if we look at the power we have in our monies, I mean, we are the biggest money makers. Not makers. I'm sorry.
Consumers. Yeah.
I'll give you an example, which I thought was dope. Jay-Z put specifically in a song where he dissed Cristal because Cristal. He said, "I don't fuck with Cristal because Cristal is racist." Right? He did that. And a whole bunch of black folks like, yeah, Jay-Z said Cristal's racist. So guess what? I ain't messing with him no more. And 2 days later, Ciroc came out with P. Diddy. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Ciroc was the #1 selling vodka at the time. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is we got the power to do it. Trust and believe. And I just think that we can sign all the treaties we want, but we hit them in the pocket and say, look, and we hit them. I mean, hit them deep. Hit them deep.
That's true. Remember the Gucci thing?
Oh yeah.
So you had so many of our people that they want to have this status. They want to wear, whatever. So you had what is the comedian? Oh God, he's on Blackish. Brother, not that one, the other one that plays the kind of goofy, whatever sidekick. Oh, he's from Chicago. Dion. Yeah, Dion. Dion. Whatever. You'll find
Cole.
I know Dion.
Yeah, right, Dion Cole. He showed up and he had on like Gucci, suede, whatever suit or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna wear my stuff. And so you have so many people that won't stay the course because they feel like that's the only thing that they can show that they have status. I got my Louis, I got my whatever. And it's I don't know, you can only do what you can do with the people. And I just push forward on myself. You know what I mean? So, and whoever's there is there.
With that, a lot of Black designers have upscale luxury products. They've been coming out. Rage is out of Chicago. You have a watch company called 17, and the products that they use to make their watches, the guy's a Black veteran. The products that he uses are the same products that they use for the Rolex watches.
Right.
So look him up on Instagram. The watch name is 17, and really, really cool brother. He reached out.
Are they expensive?
No, they're pretty reasonable. They can get a little pricey, but the quality of the watches, couple $100. They're not thousands and thousands.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna pay $1,000 for a watch.
People, working class college students.
And you know what you can do? When I was in Chicago, and it probably was like maybe 2015 or 2016, I did a personal buy Black, be Black, love Black quest. And I said that I was going to do it 30 days. And I went on Facebook and I just sought out. It was hard as heck, you know what I mean? Because it was kind of crazy. Right. Walking to some of those stores, and it was high. It might not have been whatever, but to take the time to then talk to the local corner store, to say, hey, I'm specifically buying Black. Oh, I've been here for da-da-da-da-da, and you hear their story. We used to have local Black gas stations. I lived on 107th and Vernon, and I went in there that particular day to get gas. High as heck. I could have gone over the line to Indiana, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it. But the story that I got from the little Black daddy that was in there, who the next day was actually selling the Arabic brothers. And I asked him, why? Why are you doing that? You've been here ever since I was little. He says, man, every time I turn around, somebody comes in here and just cleans me out. I don't call the police on him. You know what I mean? But I can't keep living like this. I can't keep doing it. So it's hard to do it in the neighborhood, but you can do it. and it's rewarding. But a lot of people, when I ask, I mean, some of my closest buddies, I asked to do it. Girl, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. And you just have to move in your own space sometime and do it. Now the trend is, I think they even have something online that's called Black Wall Street, Black Store, Black whatever. You can go on there and buy everything Black.
Right.
From Black owned.
I just got some soap, and I like the soap. It makes my skin feel nice. Soap, and so I just got some of that. I just bought some. I buy from that all the time, and I think that that's the main thing that we need to do. And the bottom line is, even with police officers, the reason I say defund the police, it doesn't mean and the people that think it mean get rid of the police. Number one, it moves it. And the people that don't know that, you dumb, and you probably lick windows and eat crayons. But I'm telling you that that's not what we're saying. It's like you don't need lasers and tanks. Now, you said the military come in Jamaica, and I know that for sure. But what I'm saying is they don't need all that shit. They just don't. What you need to do is use some of that money, that exorbitant amount of money that they get, and use it for not only, for the people to show up. If it's someone that's having a psychotic episode, you need somebody trained in that to be able to deal with that. But the cops are doing that. They're getting the cat out the tree. They're helping the kids. They're doing this. So sometimes they're not even equipped to deal with that. Get that money to allocate it to the people that actually can do some good. Also, community centers. It's been proven. Community centers with young brothers and sisters got somewhere to go that's real cool and nice and safe. They have a tendency not to get into no dirt. But guess what? We don't see enough of those. That's why these little rappers with a $250,000 chain, you little assholes. I want to just take a spatula and smack you in your forehead. Listen, okay. Tyrese just recently, he was going water skiing, and he had on a $250,000 necklace, and it fell off. He's like, I can't find it. Well, boo-hoo, bitch. Let me tell you something. Okay, you could have took that one necklace and helped fund a community center to get brothers and sisters, to give them training or anything else, but you rather wear it around your neck while you water skiing. So we just got to start checking these idiots, and I mean check them hard and shame them. And I'm telling you right now, when you shame some black folks, it especially you Black Twitter, go in on these people, not the people that cheated on their wife. Let's talk about the football player that had his wife held his hostage and was holding her hand and told her, hey, don't say nothing crazy, girl, I'll kill you. Like, let's not talk about them. Let's shame some of these big balling idiots that are buying unnecessarily shit and tell them to funnel it back in the community. LeBron's doing it. LeBron funded a middle school. One man.
So a lot of those rappers, they don't even own half that stuff. You know what I mean? They've written it.
But there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do that are balling like that. And they don't put the money back in the community. And I have checked them. They come to my shows. And if I see them in the audience, I wrote a whole bit about the fact that they out blinging each other while, the white people will show up in a Ford Fiesta and you don't know they own the whole block.
Right.
So, I mean, that's balling, where it's like, oh, you see that building over there? I own that building. And they in a Ford Fiesta. But you buying a Phantom Rolls Royce, whatever that is, and you live with your mama. I mean, come on, get your priorities straight. And it's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. All of us to go on the media and check them. Now, I clown them with jokes, but sometimes I'm dead serious. Get that money, put it back in our community, fund the things that we can fund, basic shit. A soap company. The reason I deal with this a black soap company. There's a black-owned firearms in Southern California called Redstone Firearms. When I'm going to buy a gun, I deal with them. When I go, there's a black-owned, the only female black-owned vodka company. I don't drink, but if I'm buying bottles for people that do drink, they want to take it to their house and have a drink. Guess what? Go to this black-owned sister that started a vodka company and deal with her. And they're all over the place. We keep doing that over and over again. Guess what happens? We become a powerhouse. When we become a powerhouse, we have something different to negotiate at the table when we come and deal with these white folks. And it's as simple as that. Buy a basketball team. The dude from BET bought a basketball team. What are you doing? Keep that equity and buy something else that can help the community. What are you talking about? Stop it. Stop doing the dumb shit. So, I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. And the black and police, I'm going to say this finally. The police do need to be, I understand what Brother Anthony's saying. They do need to be retrained. And within that retraining, if you do not stick to these guidelines that we have in what we've trained you to do, then you lose some of your pension. How about that? You do something like that to somebody black that you obviously didn't need to use that much force. Guess what? You lose money. I bet you they'd be a lot more delicate with us. Can't hear you.
Let's talk about that briefly, real quick, 30 seconds. We just had a major report come out of Illinois about property taxes, and Bloomberg did a write-up about it nationwide. An article just came out in the New York Times yesterday or the day before that about property taxes in Illinois and throughout the nation. Why? Because the Illinois Constitution says that no pension can be diminished. Okay. Yeah. That means ultimately, the state, boy, it's rough. It's real. Illinois is real. We had the longest sitting Speaker of the House in the nation. We had the longest sitting city councilman in the nation who sent several presidents to the White House, including John F. Kennedy. So, all right. The property taxes and the issues with those pensions not being diminished ultimately protects cops like Detective Guevara, who's collecting a $75,000 a year pension, although he keeps pleading the Fifth Amendment on 56 men and women who have been potentially wrongfully incarcerated. And out of the 56, 18 have been exonerated. Some of them had death sentences. Had Illinois not placed a moratorium on the death sentence, they were converted to life sentences. Guess what? 2 of them have been exonerated who had life sentences. Some of them have received 100 years. They're still awaiting retrial. One woman, not one, but both of her sons, one given 100 years, the other one given 50 years. My cousin given 50 years and recently released last February amid the pandemic after serving 25 years in prison for murder he didn't commit. Bench trial suggested by the attorney, 35 of the same judges, same lawyers, and it was just a ring ultimately. So it comes down to state law. And one of the things that we've been pushing for in Illinois are recall laws. We need to be in position to recall local elected officials. And yes, our money is power. The problem with our money is that Black people, when they are, they don't vote. Let me be clear. So the elected official, I'm just going to put it out there. Black people don't vote. They feel disenfranchised. They feel disinvested, and rightfully so. Right. However, the elected officials, we continue to push for the community at the advocacy level to say we need you all to vote. Why? Because the incumbents, the elected officials, expect for Black people not to vote. They just tally those numbers up and make those projections, and they still sit in those seats. They say run for office. It costs $250,000 to run for city councilman in the city of Chicago. The city councilmen start off at about 110 a year. The state reps and the state senators only start off at about 60, 65 a year. And it just depends on how many committees they ultimately get appointed to. The point is, the trade-off is the power versus the salary, okay? And at the end of the day, no matter what the federal government does, it's how, and Sister Helen can speak to this, it's how the state chooses to interpret it until it goes to a judge, and then the courts interpret what the federal government ultimately meant with that language.
Wow.
It's
It's very sad, but I mean, I don't want, they only make 66 and they doing all that work. I don't want like an attorney general that got to have a fans only page.
Right.
I don't want
to break out on the pole at night, right?
Yeah, you know what? After a hard day of work, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is that Attorney Green? Yes, it is.
A Wiener.
Right now, you could call me Man Cakes, and he just started like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's don't get me wrong. The fight's not over. It's a fight. Everything's a fight right now. Black folks, you got to fight. And you know what I'm saying? And it's as simple as that. And the reason I said I'm old, I feel old. I've had so much weirdness the past week because I lost my brother. My brother died Friday.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
My brother passed. He had a stroke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 60 years old. So,
wow.
My main thing, it makes me put things in perspective. And when you've been fighting, like you understand, I coordinated buses to go to the Million Man March. Yeah. I fought for Minority AIDS Project to get, because for some reason white people got more funding for AIDS, for medication, than black people. So we were like, we gonna equal this off. And I did all of that. I was down with a whole bunch of brothers that was trying to just change some things in the community and stuff like that. And what happens is, I think with black folks, if you've been one of the people that's fighting the fight for years and years and years, you get tired. You go, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna circle my wagons, make sure I'm take care of the shit I got to take care of for me. But then I think what kind of reignited me was right before the pandemic was the bullshit. And I was like, you know what? I'm in a position where I have decent sized social media. I'm not at Michael Blackson got 4 million, but I'm not at that level. But my website gets enough traffic where I'm doing all right. So I could use my platform to do that. I can get them laughing a few times, suck them in with the laughs, and they go, "Oh yeah, he got it. Woo, that's funny." And then, wait a minute, what? We need to get our money together, and then that's what you do. I use that to kind of reel them in. Gotcha. And so I use it that way. I know some music artists that do it the same way, and because some reason a lot of times people you got to kind of entertain them to get them thinking about doing something that is substantial for our community. So that's what I decided to do. And if you work with comics like Paul Mooney,
Dick Gregory, love Paul Mooney,
Dick Gregory,
Mooney.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's Mr. Mooney.
White people.
White people. Let me tell you something about these white people. These crackers are crazy. These crackers are crazy.
Love Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney is over the peak.
I don't give a goddamn.
Always been.
I don't give a goddamn about these crackers. Let me tell you something about these crackers. No, and so I mean, working with comics like that when I first started, kind of imprinted on me. So I was like, but I was so much more aggressive than them. I mean, physically, I was just an aggressive dude. So I thought I have to figure out how to balance it as I got older. And there was a comic named Ronaldo Ray, which y'all might not know because y'all young.
You keep saying that. You just don't know.
No, I'm just saying. Don't stop it. You know, look here, young. I got to call Brandon. Look here, young blood. Look here, young cuz. No, I'm just saying. And it made me realize how to really navigate through the game to make sure monies are going back into the companies and communities that we're in. Because I was always like, my first attitude was burn them down. My first attitude was, I was like Kim Jones in Reverse, where she said, "You're lucky we're looking for equality instead of revenge."
Yeah.
And I'm looking for revenge. Fuck equality. You don't want to give it to me, I'm gonna take it. I was on that, you know, it was the Malcolm X thought process before he went to Mecca. It was like, no, you smack me on one side of my face, I'm allowed to smack you on yours. And then, because I was always rah-rah, and Ronaldo Ray was telling me, he was basically he chilled me out because I was about to stab this other comic in the forehead with a fork. And he was like, "Look here, man, let me tell you something, brother. I'm arguing with this nigga for about an hour, and then I realized who the asshole was." And I walked away. Now, my young mind was like, "Oh, he's the asshole." But then I got in my car and I was driving going, wait a minute. I'm the asshole for letting it be that crazy.
Yeah.
And that's when I started navigating a little different. I would go and when I would meet with people, I would be a little bit different instead of come in. Yeah, if you don't give me shit, I'm gonna rob you, I'm gonna punch you in the face. And now I know how to do it. But I think that Black folk need to know how to navigate in those fields, navigate in how to deal with the cops. But at the same time, we don't have to be subservient to all their bullshit. Helen called it out right off the bat. That's a double standard. You let the January 6th insurrectionists who were trying to overthrow the government tiptoe their ass right out of there, but you shoot this man. But if we continually don't speak out on it, then everybody goes, well, I guess it's okay. I guess it was okay to shoot him and not to shoot him. And that's our problem. We get comfortable and complacent, and we go, well, I got mine. I ain't got to worry about that. And we can't do that. Once you run for office, Justina, even though after this, y'all know they're gonna be like, yeah, but you were with that militant guy, the guy I saw you.
What they call this vendetta?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we got vendetta on you.
I remember, and that guy Brandon, he was in the dark, and I could see him. He was starting trouble. I know he was probably on the computer sending out something illegal codes or something, and he was on your show. I mean, that's what they do. But the bottom line is, once you get in that position, you got to kind of use that position in the right way. And that's which way I see it. And I'm getting it. Once I get the Kevin Hart status, it's a wrap.
That's right.
Because the bottom line is they go, why is all of his staff Black? Because I said so, motherfucker.
And we're going to be sitting right in your living room.
Yeah.
Shane, when is your next show?
I'll be like, hey, remember me? Bing, bang.
Bing, bing. You need a lawyer. You need a lawyer. When's my next show? Live show or?
Yeah,
live. Yes, live.
Live show. My next live show is next week. I'm off this week.
Where?
Some family stuff. Vegas though.
Oh yeah, that's why you practice.
Okay, well look, man. Put my tickets to the side. I'm
yeah. He said, look.
So Vegas is opening up.
No, they're doing it at 50%.
I just had some friends that just came back.
They're doing.
There.
No, they're doing.
Look,
50.
I'm gonna pay for my tickets. I'm gonna pay you directly. I want the best seats in the house. I don't want no crap seats, man. Don't put me way back there where you put the other guys. But then don't put me in the front and talk about me either.
So I gotta be
that part. Are you headlining?
Yeah, I'm headlining.
Very well.
Yeah, no, I've been headliner. I've been doing comedy 25 years. I've been headlining for 19. I moved up fast because my act was so aggressive, and it was hard to put real chill comics on after me. I mean, I used to say some crazy shit. I'm better. I mean, right now I still do, but I think that if you go too political, there were bookers that didn't want to book me. So what I would do is I would rent the hall down the street from the club, pack it out, and then send pictures to the dude that wouldn't book me.
Very good. Smart.
Don't forget, Shane. Don't forget the inbox me, man.
I'm serious.
I'm a fly out. I fly all the time. So
yeah, it's gonna be in Vegas.
Yo, Brandon.
I know. Excuse us.
Let me be clear who Brother Brandon is. Brother Brandon is the one who educated the people about every time you flush the toilet. Can we get the public service announcement again, Brother Brandon?
Yes.
Every time you flush the toilet, what?
Oh my God! So I'm in the Corona fighting business, but I'm also I say Corona because everybody can pretty much unless you live under a rock, you know what it is. But the business that I'm in is actually disease prevention, odor control, and there are so many diseases in the public restroom that we can talk about this for a whole nother show. But mainly when you go into a public restroom and you flush that toilet, those particles cascade, and they can stay suspended in the air for up to 27 minutes. So when you walk into a restroom, or in other words, when other people walk into a restroom and they don't have their mask on, they inhale, it's a lot of things that they're tasting. It's not grandma's cooking. You know what I mean?
Or maybe it is indirectly. That was my son. I don't know if you saw my son run through.
I thought that was Flash.
No, that's my son. That's my older son. I got a younger son.
I thought that was Flash. He ran back.
Yeah, he's fast. He can run fast. I think that once we figure out, and Helen, I called you Helen.
That's right. My name's Helen.
I know. I think that it is difficult to get people on that side to say, look, you don't need to buy red bottoms. They don't matter. Nobody, like, put it this way. I did a show for BET that 8 million people saw. And you know where I got my outfit? Ready? I bought it from a swap meet. And nobody say to me, yeah, I saw you on that show with that swap meet stuff on. Nobody cared. They were like, laugh or not laugh. And
I only have one question for you, my brother.
Yeah.
Did it itch?
It's a little bit. I don't keep it.
Okay.
It was a little bit. It was a little itchy.
And I just wanted to tell you that the person you was carrying out of that club,
it was me. I was so glad to stop.
I was always getting carried out
the club.
I mean, around law school, right after the sister was like, I was about that big then. They were just like, and me outside, I'd be like, and on top of that, I want my money back.
Yeah, no,
sorry.
When I taped Def Jam, check this out. When I taped Def Jam, there was a lot of the security I knew, and I show up, and they hadn't seen me in a long time, and they're like, "So, are you working the set? Which is basically, which section are you policing? All right." And I had to tell them, no, I'm actually here to tape the show. They was like, what? Oh man, you quit and really did it. You really did it. And it was so weird because I knew everybody, and all the other comments like, why you know everybody, the security guard? And it really, it was because I was like, I used to work with him. That dude's name is Zodiac. I seen him lift up a truck, and I'm not joking. Those little pickup trucks, he lifted the front up just to show us that he could pick up a truck. I was like, I'm not gonna bother him.
When did you know that you had made it? Like that time when you said that, that was it. I nailed it. I got it.
Wow. First Def Jam, I felt really good because I was like, I remember some of my family saying, you ain't gonna never get on no HBO. And then I got on HBO. So that was one. I think my first special I felt good about, even though my ex-wife showed up, and it felt good to kick her out of the green room. Petty. No, that's wrong. Like, hi, I'm with him. No, you ain't. No, you ain't, ho.
No more.
You ain't together no more. Remember me? Yeah. When I asked you to just send a few emails for me, you couldn't do it. But yeah, how about that now? But now I'm handsome, huh? I remember you. But no, I wish I was joking. It's true. But I think that where I thought that when I knew that I got really sick in 2019. I was very sick. I almost passed. And when I realized I had enough loot that I could sustain even though I was sick. And that's when I went, I made it. It's weird. Because I thought, I'm my product. So if I don't go do shows, I'm ass out. Like, luckily this pandemic, I had enough money from albums and some of the stuff I had did online, because I would be ass out if I had his albums, the comedy albums. So, I mean, but I ain't made it yet. When you hang around somebody like Kevin Hart or even Deion Cole, who y'all mentioned out of Shy, that's when you realize you ain't make it, because they balling out of control. And but then I'm not even if I did get a lot of like big money, what I would do is, one, I would definitely have a community center, because I know that'd help me, because I was crazy and I needed somebody to guide me out of busting people in the head or something to do. And it was so cool. That's why I got into martial arts, because they had a guy that I was teaching, a brother, Sensei Holmes, I want to say. And he was teaching Taekwondo. I thought, this is cool as shit. And it was at the community center. And guess what? It was free. And until it got to a point where he's like, you need to go to a real school. And then but if I didn't have him beat my ass and getting on me, I would have been out in the street doing dirty shit. And I know a lot of people that were in the same age group as me at the time that were like, we need something to do. And I think a lot of young Black men and women, and it was a nice facility. I felt safe. They had computers, which was dope. I was like, oh, you could come here. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had movie night where we would get movies. you don't know how much that means to somebody if you 16, 17. And then all the bad, when the movie night, all the baddest chicks would be there. And I was like, yeah, I am not missing movie night. So, I mean, it was like, it gave someone, you know, somewhere to go. And I just told myself, when I get in a position like that, I already know I'm gonna do one in Harlem, and I'm gonna do one in Jersey City, and the one in Newark, and then I'm gonna do one out here in LA, because they really need it in LA.
What advice would you give a young person or an older person who actually wants to go into comedy and, you know, expand their craft into being a career? What advice would you give them from your own experience?
First off, stage time. You got to get on stage. I don't know why people think, you know, if you funny with your friends, when it's strangers, they don't care about you. So they're like, be funny. I paid $25. I had to get a babysitter, and me and my woman, and we got to buy 2 drinks, and we got to buy some food. It's $100. You better be funny. So you got to get stage time first. Stage time. And because of social media, you have to kind of dabble in that as much as possible. And I didn't do it until later in my career because I wasn't around when I started. It wasn't around. So, but I think reaching out to fans, I reach out directly, and so then that helps. Last time I did Chicago, I did a show in, I was overseas, and I did a show in Iraq. There was a bunch of brothers that were in the military, and I talked to one brother for a while, and it was cool. He was kicking it, hanging out, talking shit. And when I came, he said, when you get back to the States, man, we're going to come see you. I'm from the Chi. And I thought he was bullshitting. I get back, he brought 38 people to my show, and all of them paid. Mm-hmm. So I found that by just being chill with people, not being like, no, I'm in the VIP. I can't talk to you. Don't look at me. Settle down. Yeah, I feel like that's one thing, but to absolutely connect with your whoever digs what you do. I'll give you an example. I did a show with it's a black rock group called Fishbone, and you could look them up. They brothers, but they crazy, and they like they drugs, but they still good. And I did a show with them, and I was like, how did you sell this place out and you don't have no record on the radio? He said, we go to the party with the girl that's going to sleep with me. Focus on the people that are digging you. You're not going to get everybody. Just get the people that dig you. And that's when I started my email list years ago. And now I have 2.6 million people on my email list. So I can release an album just to them. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to get maybe a percentage. Like I sold 18,000 the last one I did over the pandemic. Because I was like, well, I'm going to release one during the pandemic. People ain't doing nothing. And I sold 18,000. But you got to do the math. If I sell it for $4.99 and I only have to pay the download fee and then the packaging, the other $2 goes to me. As opposed to a label. So I always tell people, do the math. So if you're a comic or you're a performer, but I still say this again for black folks, stop with that shit. Listen, you get in a position of power, use that power to bring other people in with you. And period. Don't do that. Ice-T got in his writer. I want all the way down to the caterer to be black. It's in his contract. Like, this, if you want me, you got to do all this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily like Tyler Perry's movies, but I like what he doing. I don't like dudes that dress up. I'm sorry. Look, y'all can hate all you want. I don't like dudes dress up.
He stopped that, didn't he?
He said, I don't like what she's doing. Like,
I think they retired the dress.
Okay, good. Because Medea goes to the moon. Who needs to see that shit? Yeah, okay, I get it. After a while, you go, come on, after a while, I get it. Okay, he's a big ass dude in a dress. But I do like what he's doing because he does hire a lot of black folks.
Speaking of the dress thing, I don't know how much time we have, but one of the things that Dave Chappelle said is that Hollywood, if you want to get to that $50 million mark, they always want you to put a dress on. Would you do the dress?
Me?
Would you?
No. You? Yes. Honestly, and this is not like me just saying it to get props. I don't care about all that shit. I'm too old. I keep saying I'm too old because I feel old today. That's all. You know. Listen, Justina, with your, excuse me, just because last week you were able to drink, so you settled down with your young self. No, I wouldn't do it because I'm like, no, you know what? I'll be in. You know what? If I make a couple million a year, I'm good, and I don't need no extra shit. And I like, if I got 50 million, you can do quite well with like 5 million a year, and you'll be fine if you live conservatively, buy a house within your means instead of I don't need no gold toilet, and then use the other money and invest in stuff that can actually flip to make a profit. And you get subsidiaries, that's why I'm looking into doing stuff with the community centers, because you can get companies to fund it. You can get companies to fund it. It's like, oh, we'll use your product in our community center, but you got to fund this. And they go, oh, really? Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, stuff like that. And I talked to different companies, and it was wild. They never talked to me before until I started getting a little juice. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, Shane, come on in. Yeah. Well, before they're like, security, make sure he stays as far away from the building as possible. So I think that's the main thing I would suggest to anybody when you get in a position of power. And I'm creeping up on that because they still hit me with old shit I did because I was a little bit wild, but I'm creeping up on it now. And I would say get in a position of power and bring as many Black folks in as possible. Even if it's down to, if you needed somebody to design your clothes, make sure somebody Black.
Oh God. Yes, I love our people. We love our people. Now, Sister Helen, now we just need to make sure that we have we're gonna bring in all our people. Let's be clear, okay? Now we just don't want our people thinking, the folks who aren't trained electricians deciding to say, well, I want to be an electrician on the payroll.
No, I mean,
we deal with that on a regular basis.
You gotta have a bootleg. Everybody gotta have a bootleg. Everybody gotta have a bootleg. You gotta have
one bootleg person. Yeah,
you gotta have a bootleg, right? But one thing that they do say, and you might want to put that out, like that my old boyfriend used to say, I'm gonna get this one to you for free. All the stuff that you did that you think might come back on you, spin it and put it out first.
Well, you know what? Album. You know what? No, I tried that once and it went worse.
You tried to Eminem?
Yeah, it went worse.
Takeouts?
Yeah, I lost.
Outtakes. Putting them outtakes or whatever.
Yes.
Just doing those and put them out.
The Suncoast Theaters. I lost the whole string of the dates at the Suncoast Theaters because of some shit that came out. I dissed a conscious comedy show. I was on there with Dick Gregory, Paul Mooney, the Mooney Twins, comic named D Militant, and I dissed the sponsor of I dissed them hard because it was Schlitz Malt Liquor. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yeah.
And Schlitz Malt Liquor, I started talking shit about them on stage in a packed house at the Richard Pryor Theater. And when I say they fired me, they met me at the steps of the stage with my check, my last check, and said, we won't be needing your services no more.
Yeah.
Was this when 40s were popular?
What?
Was this when 40s were popular?
And I started killing them on stage. Crowd was rocking with it, but the execs in the back were not.
Still around?
Huh?
Still around?
I know. Yeah, they were still around, but I just thought,
around.
I was like, ain't y'all part of the problem? And I started going in on them. And then they were like, yeah, we don't want to book you because we heard that you had beat somebody up, which I did at a club.
Oh, wow.
Which it was me. And they said, well, we don't want anybody violent that's part of this tour.
You need to spin that. Jump out in front of them.
I tried to jump out.
I'm from the East Coast, and the post-traumatic slave syndrome that we've experienced.
Huh?
Where are you from?
New York.
Okay, very well.
Yeah,
so in the East Coast.
Yeah, so I think that I tried to say, look, it was this, and it's two grown men. They said, yeah, but you pretty much, it was you. And then I And then it got co-signed by a whole bunch of people, and then eventually they were right. It was me. And then I lost those gigs. So I had to go. That's when I had to go back to, hey man, y'all got anybody on the front door of the club? Like, by the way, because I know I was telling the jokes with it. So I ended up doing that. But and luckily I got on Comic View. Back in the day, Comic View was like one of the most popular on BET.
Yes.
And the dude saw me do a set, and he put me on there, and then I could ease back into it. But then some of my friends mobbed up to one of the tapings and was smoking a bunch of herb.
So as we are nearing that wonderful time, and this has been so much fun. I look forward to you coming back on with us again, Brother Shane. And Shane, hopefully you can grace us one day with being a co-host. That would be amazing.
Well, I'm glad y'all let me say some. Yeah, Brother Anthony said, "Well, that's some bullshit," and then and Brandon said, "Well, hold up, that is bullshit." So accountability is what counts, and if not, it's bullshit. I was like, "Oh, here we go. This is the show I'm talking about." Yeah. So,
Shane, all I want, like I said, make sure you inbox me the information, man, so I can get there. If you don't inbox me, I ain't making it because I ain't gonna remember. I got 1,000 things on my blog.
Like you go. I got 1,000 things to remember.
Lies all the time.
But I completely understand. Where do I inbox you?
I'll make sure you all connect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll connect you both this evening.
Absolutely.
I'll send you a text. Awesome. So we're getting ready to wrap up this evening, you all. Sister Helen, don't go too far. Hey, yes.
But she bounced. What happened?
She bounced. Politically speaking, so Sister Helen briefly is the commissioner and chairwoman for the state of New Mexico's the senior aging program that they have. Okay, right. So she's advocating for our wonderful seniors in the state of New Mexico as a commissioner and chairwoman. So as we prepare to wrap up this evening, we usually go around and just say, give wise words of wisdom. 30 seconds, wise words of wisdom. Brother Brandon, 30 seconds, wise words of wisdom, politically speaking.
Oh man, wisdom. I don't know. We got a comic on here, so you can't make fun of a comic.
Yeah, you can.
No, you cannot. That is. Listen, that is like a vampire getting a staple in his heart. Yeah, I will never make fun of a comedian, not in front of a show. How can you come back from that? People gonna laugh even if you're not funny.
That's true.
Then they laughing at the person you pointing at. So the only thing you can do is hide. I know. I'm gonna tell a quick story. So you want some good advice? It's what my brother said here, Shane. He said he's a professional fighter, basically.
Well, I was.
But
yeah, long time ago.
That's people assume that they can kick somebody's ass. I assumed I can kick this guy's ass one time, and I walked up. I said, I threw this, and he hit me so fast. When I woke up, all I seen was 5 other people, and I knew right there I was gonna be his best friend. So, because he beat the shit out of me. But listen, you never assume. That's the best advice I can give you. You never assume anything, whether it be if the police is good, if the police is bad, because you just never know until you interact with them. You just never assume, because the reality is I've dealt with some really good people. I got a cousin that was a police officer 35 years, and people love him. I mean, people that he's arrested have got out of prison and went to talk to him and said that was the best thing that he could have possibly done. But he wasn't a bad cop. He did everything by the book, and he gave a lot of people breaks. But then you got politically speaking, you got some really bad people out here, and you can't fix them. Is the best thing you can do is burn them. So, if we hold everybody accountable, we burn the ones that need to be burned, and praise the ones that are doing a good job. I think the system will be better.
That makes sense.
Sister Helen, and then Brother Shane, you got to close us out. 30 seconds, politically speaking.
Well, I would say that, yeah, we know that there's no all, anything. All cashiers aren't bad. All police aren't bad. All teachers aren't bad. With that being said, when you do see out of whack, don't be so politically correct that you don't stand up and speak truth to power. And I'd like to also say that it's always good to get your funny on. So that's all I would.
Yes.
Getting your funny on.
Yes. Oh, hey, what? Oh, me?
Brother Shane, yes. Close us on out for the evening.
Words of wisdom. Okay, never pet a burning dog. Okay, that don't make no goddamn sense. Listen, you're like, what? No. My words of wisdom is, because I've had in the past week, 3 people pass, 2 friends of mine and my brother. And it made me realize, and luckily I had a good relationship and I was in touch with him and everything. But make sure, my words of wisdom is, make sure you always touch base, and make sure that you let the people love them while they're alive. Mm-hmm. And cherish them and honor the people that you do know that are down for you and your family or friends. Touch base with them, say hello, say what's up. Make sure that you touch base. Always make sure you touch base and say that you love the people that's in your life while they're alive, and don't take them for granted. So I think that's the most prominent thing in my mind right now, pertaining to my life. So that would be one. And also I agree with you, Helen, is sometimes shit gets so thick. You gotta take time and just laugh. I was working so hard, I didn't even take time. I traveled all over the world, and I didn't even see the places I was at because I was so busy working. Take time to you feel like eating a strawberry, eat the goddamn strawberry. Take time to do it. And it's a damn shame I had to wait till my late 50s to realize, you know what? I like riding bikes. Let me go get a goddamn bike.
Oh, I know.
And I never did it. My whole life, I'm like, I love bikes. I love riding bikes. Never did it. And it took me that long. So I think that that would be my words of wisdom. Just don't forsake the people you love, and don't forsake yourself. So if you can capsulize it into one sentence, that's what I would do. Yep.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We look forward to having you back on as a wonderful host. First of all, it's a blessing to have you on. So thank you for sharing your platform and your viewers with us on Politically Speaking with the Justice Team. Feed Your Brain on air on Intellectual Radio, Truth Radio HD, and iHeartRadio. You can tune into all social media platforms. #Politically Speaking, live with Justina Winfrey, Attorney Helen Wakefield, Sister Helen, Brother Brandon Laster, and comedian Shangri. Out now on Amazon Prime.
Yes, on Amazon Prime. If you get a chance, when you watch it, make sure you rate it and review it. That's very, 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 very important.
I'm going to watch it now.
Rate and review. Very important.
Rate and review.
Yes.
Have a blessed evening, everyone. Love on your people. Love each other. God bless you all.
Look at us waving. Everybody wave. Everybody. Wave.